It is possible. It is actually the big question. The relations with China will not be warm. Let's be sure about that. The American mindset across the political class and now in the society as well, because of this, is China's a threat, it's an enemy, it's a danger. I don't think that is going to go away. It could. I think it's completely fallacious in my view, but I don't see that as going away in the same way as with Russia. But I think the question is,
why not?
I think the question is, so let me say why not. There was, up until very recently, and there still is in some parts, a view in Washington, a real view, maybe like in Ukraine, that we are heading towards war with China. To my mind, it's a mind-boggling view. First, if it were to happen, the United States would be defeated, period. Period. Because it's a big ocean, and you cannot, and if there's a war in the South China Sea or in the China neighborhood, believe me, the United States cannot win that war.
And every war game done in the United States.
And every war game has confirmed that point. It's even more true with the advances of technology of the last few years, where everything is surveyed, including ships, and every ship is vulnerable to hypersonic missiles, and projecting power across an ocean depends on a navy, and it can't be done the same way as it could have been done 20 or 30 or 40 years ago, given technological change. So in my view, the whole idea is horrendous, not to mention the fact that it could easily lead to the destruction of the world. But there are still definitely parts of the American scene that want to project that there is quite possibly a war coming with China. Maybe it's to build missile systems. Maybe it's to justify the Pentagon budget. Maybe it's the belief that, yes, that could really happen. But that is not a small view in Washington. It got into our official documents in shocking ways. I was shocked when last year's naval strategy document of the head of the Navy said we must prepare for war with China. We must be ready for war with China by 2027. This was in print in the opening lines of this naval strategy. Just to even talk like this is so reckless and provocative in my view, but that found its way into many, many areas. So given all of that, and the fact, and one more thing to say about Ukraine in this regard. Why did Trump come to the view to not pursue the Ukraine war? Well, fundamentally because the U.S. was losing this proxy war. In other words, the U.S. tried. It wanted to see whether Putin would back down or not. It wanted to see whether the sanctions would be enough to destabilize the Russian economy. It wanted to see whether Putin would resist mobilizing the domestic population. It wanted to see whether the HIMARS and ATACMS missile systems would prevail, and so forth. All of that failed. Ukraine got very badly mauled. It's losing on the battlefield. It's expensive. It's a losing hand. There's no practical way to change that. And so Trump is throwing in the hand on that basis. When it comes to China, that kind of view has not yet happened. We've had 3 years of failure in Ukraine. In fact, many more years than that, but at least 3 years of direct failure, whereas when it comes to China, the view is the big battle is still ahead. And one of the reasons for some of the Trump people to say get out of Ukraine is not for rebuilding America, it's for the bigger battle ahead. Actually, John Mearsheimer takes that position, in not that he wants war, but he says Ukraine's a sideshow. The real issue for U.S. security is China. So we shouldn't squander our limited resources on a sideshow. We should be building for not war, but for the contest with China. So psychologically, the mood is really very different regarding China. Now, having said all of that, I think Trump does not want conflict with China. He's actually not a warmonger.
Correct.
He's not a warmonger. It's strange.
Yeah.
He's nasty, by the way.
Right.
He's attacking American institutions. He's in favor of locking up our students. He's in favor of breaking the law. He's in favor of abuse. He's in favor of deporting people. He's a nasty person. He's a bully. But he's not a warmonger against an equal adversary. He doesn't like war. And so in this sense, it's possible to distinguish between an unpleasant economic relationship and threat, hostility, blame, and still say, and my good friend President Xi, and not view it in any personal level and not view it as warmongering. So I think that's the optimistic view. I don't think it gets better than that, in that they will be best buddies and have some kind of economic grand bargain. I may be pleasantly surprised. I don't think it will go that way. I don't think it will even go as far as what's happening with Putin, but I do think that avoiding conflict is absolutely possible.